Hello, I'm SA, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
Jean Fernel stands as a towering figure in the history of medicine, a scholar whose work straddle the waning influence of Galenic tradition and the burgeoning era of empirical observation and mechanistic philosophy. His intellectual journey, initially rooted in the abstract realms of mathematics and philosophy, ultimately led into a profound engagement with the human body, driven by conviction that prevailing medical doctrines fell short of adequately explaining its intricate workings. This transition marks a crucial turning point, signaling a shift toward a more rigorous, anatomically grounded approach to understanding health and disease. Fernel's early academic pursuits provided him with a keen analytical mind, honed by the precision of mathematical reasoning and the systematic inquiry of philosophical discourse. However, these disciplines, while intellectually stimulating, seemed to him to lack a certain grounding in the observable realities of the natural world, particularly concerning the complexities of human physiology. He perceived limitations in the prevailing Galenic system, a medical paradigm that had dominated Western thought for centuries. Galen's theories, while comprehensive for their time, were based on a limited understanding of human anatomy, derived primarily from animal dissections and philosophical speculation. Fernel found himself increasingly questioning the accuracy and practical efficacy of these long-held beliefs. Specifically, Fernel challenged Galen's anatomical descriptions, pointing out discrepancies between Galen's accounts and his own observations during dissections. For instance, Galen described the liver as having 5 lobes, a feature more accurately reflecting the anatomy of certain animals than that of humans, where typically only 2 major lobes are present. Such inaccuracies, though seemingly minor, underscored a broader concern: the reliance on indirect sources and theoretical constructs over direct empirical investigation. Fernel also questioned Galen's understanding of the circulatory system, which posited that blood ebbed and flowed within the veins and arteries, rather than circulating continuously. Fernel's critique, while incomplete in its understanding of circulation, highlighted the need for a more dynamic and interconnected model of blood flow. These early critiques of Galen were not mere iconoclasm. They stemmed from a deep commitment to reforming medical knowledge and practice. Fernel envisioned a comprehensive system of medicine grounded in careful observation, anatomical accuracy, and clinical experience. This vision culminated in his monumental work, Universa Medicina, a comprehensive treatise encompassing physiology, pathology, and therapeutics. Universa Medicina was structured into 3 distinct parts: physiology, pathology, and therapeutics, representing a systematic approach to understanding the human body in health, disease, and treatment. This work aimed to synthesize existing medical knowledge with new observations and insights, offering a more coherent and practical framework for medical practitioners. At the heart of Fernel's approach was a firm belief in the primacy of observation and clinical experience. He emphasized the importance of careful examination of patients, meticulous anatomical dissections, and the accumulation of empirical data as the foundation for medical theory. This emphasis on empirical evidence marked a departure from the more speculative and philosophical approach that had characterized much of Galenic medicine. Fernel advocated for a method that combined theoretical knowledge with practical application, urging physicians to test their hypotheses through careful observation and experimentation. He believed that true medical knowledge could only be attained through a rigorous and systematic approach to the study of the human body. His method involved detailed case studies in which he meticulously documented the symptoms, progression, and outcomes of various diseases. These case studies served as a basis for developing his theories about the nature and causes of disease. He also stressed the importance of understanding the individual constitution of each patient, recognizing that individuals responded differently to various treatments. This individualized approach to medicine was a significant departure from the more standardized treatments that were common at the time. Fernel's emphasis on observation and clinical experience directly influenced his physiological theories. He viewed the body as a complex system of interconnected organs and functions, each playing a vital role in maintaining health. He sought to understand how these organs interacted with one another and how their functions could be disrupted by disease. This holistic approach to physiology was a significant departure from the more reductionist approach that had characterized much of Galenic medicine. Universa Medicina gained rapid recognition and became a standard medical text throughout Europe for many decades. Its comprehensive scope, systematic organization, and emphasis on empirical observation resonated with physicians seeking a more practical and evidence-based approach to medicine. The work was widely translated and reprinted, solidifying Fernel's reputation as a leading medical authority. Fernel's work represents a pivotal moment in the transition from Galenic to modern medicine. While he did not entirely abandon Galenic principles, he challenged many of its core tenets and advocated for a more empirical and anatomically grounded approach to understanding the human body. His emphasis on observation, clinical experience, and the interconnectedness of bodily functions laid the groundwork for future advances in physiology, pathology, and therapeutics. His influence can be seen in the work of subsequent generations of physicians and scientists who built upon his foundation of empirical inquiry and anatomical accuracy. His legacy endures as a testament to the power of observation and critical thinking in the pursuit of medical knowledge. Fernel's dedication to empirical observation extended into the realm of physiology, where he sought to understand the body's functions through a blend of anatomical knowledge and mechanical principles. He envisioned the human body as a complex machine, an intricate system of interconnected parts working in harmony. This perspective, detailed in his Physiology, marked a significant departure from the purely philosophical approach of earlier Galenic scholars. One of Fernel's crucial contributions was his exploration of the nervous system. He recognized its vital role in sensation and movement, positing that nerves acted as channels for transmitting signals throughout the body. He proposed that these signals were carried by what he termed vital spirits, a concept distinct from Galen's animal spirits. Galen believed that animal spirits were formed in the brain from the refined blood and were responsible for sensory perception and voluntary motion. Fernel, however, considered vital spirits to be more closely linked to the heart and the body's overall vitality, suggesting a more integrated view of the nervous system's function. This distinction, while subtle, reflected Fernel's shift toward a more mechanistic understanding of bodily processes. Fernel's insights into the circulation of blood, though incomplete, foreshadowed William Harvey's groundbreaking discovery. In Physiology, Fernel described the movement of blood from the heart to the rest of the body and its subsequent return. While he did fully grasp the concept of a closed circulatory system, his writings contain passages that suggest an awareness of the continuous flow of blood. For example, he observed that the veins carried blood back to the heart, implying a cyclical pattern. This observation, combined with his emphasis on anatomical dissection, paved the way for Harvey's later, more comprehensive explanation. Harvey, in his Dramatis Cordis, acknowledged the contributions of his predecessors, including Fernel, in shaping his understanding of the circulatory system. Fernel's emphasis on observation and anatomical dissection significantly influenced his physiological theories. He believed that a thorough understanding of the body's structure was essential for comprehending its function. He meticulously examined various organs and tissues, noting their physical characteristics and their relationships to one another. This approach allowed him to develop more accurate and detailed descriptions of bodily processes. For instance, his detailed anatomical studies of the brain contributed to his understanding of the nervous system and its role in sensation and movement. The contemporary mechanical philosophy, which gained prominence during the Renaissance, profoundly influenced Fernel's understanding of the body. Thinkers like René Descartes compared the human body to a machine, with its various parts working together according to mechanical laws. Fernel's concept of the body as a machine aligned with this philosophical trend, reflecting a growing interest in explaining natural phenomena through mechanical principles. This perspective encouraged physicians to view the body as a system that could be understood through observation, experimentation, and the application of mathematical and physical laws. Another significant aspect of Fernel's physiological thought was his theory of the archeus. The archeus was, in his view, a vital principle or force that governed the body's functions and maintained its health. It acted as a kind of internal physician, regulating bodily processes and responding to internal or external threats. Fernel's concept of the archeus was rooted in the ancient idea of a vital force or spirit that animated living organisms. However, he sought to integrate this concept with his anatomical and physiological observations, attempting to provide a more scientific explanation for the body's self-regulating capabilities. The idea of the archeus can be seen as an attempt to reconcile traditional vitalistic beliefs with the emerging mechanistic worldview. It served as a bridge between the old and the new, allowing Fernel to incorporate both philosophical and empirical approaches into his medical theories. The origins of Fernel's archeus theory can be traced to earlier medical traditions, particularly those influenced by Galen and the Hippocratic school. These traditions emphasized the importance of maintaining balance and harmony within the body, and they attributed various diseases to disruptions of this balance. Fernel's archeus can be seen as a more specific and localized version of this general concept of bodily harmony. It represented a vital force that worked to maintain the body's equilibrium and to restore it when it was disrupted by disease. Fernel's archeus theory had a direct impact on his approach to therapeutics. He believed that the physician's role was to assist the archeus in its efforts to restore the body's health. This could be done through various means, such as diet, exercise, and the use of medications. Fernel emphasized the importance of understanding the individual patient's constitution and tailoring the treatment to their specific needs. This approach, while still rooted in traditional humoral theory, reflected a growing awareness of the complexity of the human body and the need for individualized care. Later, physicians and scientists critiqued Fernel's concept of the archeus. As mechanistic use of the body became more dominant, the idea of a vital force governing bodily functions seemed increasingly outdated. Critics argued that the archeus was an unnecessary and unscientific concept, and that bodily processes could be explained entirely through physical and chemical laws. Despite these criticisms, Fernel's archeus theory remained influential for several generations, particularly among physicians who sought to integrate traditional medical beliefs with the emerging scientific worldview. Fernel's physiological theories, while containing elements of both traditional and modern thought, represent a significant step toward a more scientific understanding of the human body. His emphasis on anatomical observation, his exploration of the nervous system, and his insights into the circulation of blood all contributed to the advancement of medical knowledge. His concept of the archeus, while ultimately superseded by mechanistic explanations, reflected a genuine attempt to understand the body's self-regulating capabilities. His work laid the groundwork for future generations of physicians and scientists who built upon his foundation of empirical inquiry and anatomical accuracy. Following his comprehensive exploration of human physiology, Jean Fernel turned his attention to the classification and understanding of disease, culminating in his magnum opus, pathology. This work represents a significant departure from purely theoretical approaches, emphasizing instead the importance of clinical observation and anatomical correlation in the study of disease. Fernel sought to move beyond the traditional Galenic system of humus, while still incorporating elements of it, to develop a more nuanced and empirically grounded understanding of pathological processes. Pathology is structured as a systematic survey of diseases affecting different parts of the body. Fernel meticulously described the symptoms, progression, and potential complications of a wide range of ailments, drawing both on his own clinical experience and on the accumulated knowledge of previous medical authorities. His descriptions are often remarkably detailed, providing vivid accounts of the patient's suffering and the characteristic signs of each disease. He made a concerted effort to correlate observed symptoms with anatomical lesions, a practice that foreshadowed the development of modern anatomical pathology. For example, in his discussion of pulmonary diseases, he described the appearance of the lungs in cases of consumption, noting the presence of tubercles and cavities. This attention to anatomical detail distinguished his work from that of many of his contemporaries, who relied more heavily on abstract theoretical constructs. Fernel's approach to classifying diseases was based on a combination of anatomical location and perceived etiology. He grouped diseases according to the affected organ system, such as the brain, heart, or lungs, and then further subdivided them based on their presumed causes. He recognized the importance of both internal and external factors in the development of disease, including imbalances in the humus, environmental influences, and the action of specific poisons or contagions. While he still adhered to the traditional humoral theory, he attempted to integrate it with his own observations and to provide more specific explanations of how humoral imbalances could lead to particular diseases. For instance, he suggested that an excess of black bile could cause melancholy, a condition characterized by sadness, anxiety, and a preoccupation with death. However, he also acknowledged that other factors, such as heredity and lifestyle, could contribute to the development of this condition. One of Fernel's most significant contributions to the understanding of disease was his recognition of the importance of contagion. While the concept of contagion had been discussed by earlier writers, such as Girolamo Fracastoro, Fernel provided a more detailed and systematic account of how diseases could be transmitted from one person to another. He observed that certain diseases, such as plague and smallpox, tended to spread rapidly through populations, particularly in crowded and unsanitary conditions. He also noted that individuals who had been exposed to these diseases often developed immunity, suggesting that the body was capable of mounting a defense against them. Fernel's views on contagion were influenced by his belief in the existence of seminal reasons rations, seminales, a concept derived from ancient philosophy. He believed that diseases were caused by specific seeds or germs that could be transmitted through the air, through contact with infected individuals, or through contaminated objects. These seminal reasons, he argued, possessed the potential to reproduce themselves within the body, leading to the development of disease symptoms. Fernel's concept of seminal reasons should be understood within the context of his broader philosophical and medical framework. He sought to reconcile the ancient theory of the four elements and humus with emerging observations regarding disease transmission and specific pathologies. He proposed that these seminal reasons acted as specific agents that could disrupt the balance of humus, leading to characteristic symptoms. This was a significant step toward recognizing specific etiologies for diseases, even if the exact nature of these seeds remained unknown. His ideas influenced later thinkers who began to consider the possibility of microscopic organisms as causative agents of disease. Fernel's understanding of syphilis represents a particularly insightful aspect of his pathology. This disease, which had emerged in Europe in the late 15th century, posed a significant medical challenge, and physicians struggled to understand its origins, transmission, and treatment. Fernel provided a comprehensive description of the various stages of syphilis, from the initial chancre to the later manifestations, such as skin lesions, bone pain, and neurological complications. He recognized that syphilis could be transmitted through sexual contact, and he emphasized the importance of abstinence and hygiene in preventing its spread. He also described the congenital form of syphilis, noting that infected mothers would transmit the disease to their offspring. While Fernel acknowledged the influence of Girolamo Fracastoro's work on syphilis, particularly Fracastoro's theory of contagion, he went beyond Fracastoro in several respects. Fernel provided a more detailed clinical description of the disease, based on his own observations and experience. He also explored the potential complications of syphilis, such as its effects on the nervous system and its association with other diseases. Furthermore, Fernel considered the possibility that syphilis could be caused by a combination of factors, including both contagion and humoral imbalances. He suggested that individuals with a predisposition to certain humoral imbalances might be more susceptible to the disease. Fernel's detailed descriptions of specific diseases, such as pulmonary tuberculosis, provide examples of his commitment to anatomical observation and clinical correlation. He outlined the symptoms of tuberculosis, including cough, fever, weight loss, and night sweats. He also described the characteristic lesions found in the lungs of patients with tuberculosis, such as tubercles, cavities, and inflammation. He noted the tendency of tuberculosis to spread to other organs, such as the bones and the brain, and he recognized that it could be a chronic and debilitating disease. Fernel's understanding of tuberculosis was limited by the lack of modern diagnostic tools, such as microscopy and bacteriological culture, but his detailed clinical observations laid the groundwork for future advances in the understanding and treatment of this disease. Fernel's integration of humoral theory with his own observations reflects a characteristic feature of his medical thought. He did away with the traditional Galenic system, but he also recognized its limitations. He attempted to bridge the gap between ancient and modern medicine by incorporating elements of both into his own synthesis. He believed that the humus played an important role in maintaining health, and that imbalances in the humus could contribute to the development of disease. However, he also recognized that other factors, such as environmental influences, contagion, and specific poisons, could also cause disease. His approach was characterized by a willingness to consider multiple perspectives and to integrate different sources of knowledge. This eclecticism, while criticized by some, allowed him to develop a more comprehensive and nuanced understanding of the complexities of human health and disease. Fernel's intellectual flexibility, his willingness to synthesize disparate ideas, proved to be a potent catalyst for future medical advancements. His legacy is etched deeply within the annals of medical history, extending far beyond his immediate circle of students and colleagues. It is visible in the work of those who came after him, individuals who built upon his foundations and expanded the boundaries of medical knowledge. A prime example of Fernel's enduring influence is evident in the groundbreaking work of William Harvey. Harvey's revolutionary discovery of blood circulation, a cornerstone of modern physiology, owes a debt to Fernel's meticulous descriptions of blood vessels. Fernel, in his Physiology, provided detailed accounts of the structure and function of veins and arteries, emphasizing their role in transporting vital substances throughout the body. While Fernel did grasp the full circulatory nature of the system, his insights into the vascular network provided crucial groundwork for Harvey's later investigations. Harvey himself acknowledged the importance of anatomical observation in understanding physiological processes, a principle championed by Fernel. Harvey's De Montecordes, published in 1638, presented a comprehensive model of circulation, demonstrating how blood flows continuously through the body, propelled by the heart. This discovery, which overturned centuries of Galenic dogma, was facilitated by the anatomical groundwork laid by Fernel and others who emphasized direct observation. Fernel's impact extends beyond the realm of anatomy and physiology. He played a pivotal role in the development of anatomical pathology, a field that seeks to understand the structural changes associated with disease. His meticulous descriptions of diseased organs, based on autopsy findings, helped to establish a link between anatomical abnormalities and clinical symptoms. Fernel's emphasis on correlating clinical observations with pathological findings paved the way for a more scientific approach to diagnosis and treatment. This approach, which emphasized the importance of understanding the underlying causes of disease, represented a significant departure from traditional Galenic medicine, which often relied on speculative theories. His influence is also felt in the rise of clinical medicine, a field that emphasizes the importance of direct patient observation and bedside diagnosis. Fernel's own medical practice was characterized by careful attention to detail and a willingness to challenge conventional wisdom. He stressed the importance of obtaining a thorough patient history, performing a careful physical examination, and considering all available evidence before making a diagnosis. This emphasis on clinical experience, combined with his anatomical knowledge, made him a highly sought-after physician. He served as physician to Henry II of France, demonstrating the high regard in which he was held. Fernel's contributions to medical education are equally significant. He recognized the importance of providing students with a solid foundation in anatomy, physiology, and pathology. His textbooks, such as the Universa Medicina, became standard works in medical schools throughout Europe. These texts, which were characterized by their clarity, comprehensiveness, and emphasis on practical application, helped to train generations of physicians. Fernel's legacy as an educator is reflected in the numerous students who went on to make significant contributions to medicine. His emphasis on observation, clinical experience, and critical thinking helped to shape the development of medical education for centuries to come. Fernel's work represents a crucial bridge between Galenic medicine and the scientific revolution. He built upon the foundations of classical medicine, but he also challenged its limitations and incorporated new ideas and observations. His emphasis on anatomy, pathology, and clinical experience helped to pave the way for a more scientific approach to medicine. He embraced empirical observation, a hallmark of the emerging scientific worldview, while retaining elements of traditional humoral theory. This synthesis allowed him to develop a more comprehensive and nuanced understanding of human health and disease. His work stood as a testament to the power of integration and adaptation in the face of evolving knowledge. A comparison between Fernel and Andreas Vesalius, another prominent figure in the anatomical revolution, highlights both similarities and differences in their approaches to anatomy and medicine. Vesalius, whose De Humani Corporis Fabrica revolutionized the study of anatomy, focused primarily on correcting errors in Galen's anatomical descriptions. He emphasized the importance of direct dissection and observation, producing detailed and accurate illustrations of the human body. While Vesalius's work was groundbreaking, it was primarily descriptive in nature. Fernel, on the other hand, was more concerned with integrating anatomical knowledge with physiology and pathology. He sought to understand how the structure of the body related to its function and how anatomical abnormalities contributed to disease. Vesalius corrected the anatomical record. Fernel sought to apply that corrected record to a deeper understanding of disease processes. Vesalius's influence was primarily through his anatomical illustrations and his emphasis on direct dissection. Fernel's influence extended beyond anatomy to encompass physiology, pathology, and clinical medicine. He emphasized the importance of integrating all these disciplines in order to provide the best possible care for patients. While Vesalius's work was essential for correcting anatomical errors, Fernel's work was crucial for developing a more comprehensive and scientific approach to medicine. In conclusion, Jean Fernel's contributions to medicine were multifaceted and far-reaching. His meticulous anatomical descriptions, his pioneering work in anatomical pathology, his emphasis on clinical observation, and his contributions to medical education all helped to shape the development of modern medical thought and practice. His influence is visible in the work of subsequent generations of physicians and scientists, including William Harvey, whose discovery of blood circulation was facilitated by Fernel's anatomical insights. Fernel's work represents a crucial bridge between Galenic medicine and the scientific revolution, paving the way for a more scientific and evidence-based approach to healthcare. He stands as a pivotal figure, a synthesizer of ancient wisdom and emerging empirical methodologies, whose legacy continues to resonate within the halls of medical science. His emphasis on observation, careful analysis, and the integration of diverse perspectives remains a guiding principle for medical practitioners and researchers alike. His dedication to the pursuit of knowledge and his commitment to improving patient care serve as an inspiration for all who seek to advance the art and science of medicine.
We really appreciate you tuning into this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.